Let me paint a picture for you. You know in horror movies when the music goes quiet and it zooms in on some little girl with pigtails and she's holding like a stuffed rabbit or something and its name is Mr. Barnaby. And then the little girl says something really creepy like, Mr. Barnaby says he doesn't like the scary man outside. Mr. Barnaby says the girl in the closet doesn't have any skin because she got too hot. Mr. Barnaby says to stay away from the attic because the hanging man is mean. Mr. Barnaby says the lady in the mirror keeps crying, but she doesn't have any eyes, so the tears just pour out. Let's talk about how creepy children are when it comes to ghosts and how they're a conduit for the spirit realm. Shall we? Kitty cat! Kitty cat is here! Pretty. He's a pretty. The little princess. Oh, the little princess. Oh, you're the prettiest baby in town. Hey, stranger. Elaine, Aeris, and Cutie Pie here. I do need my iPad, though, darling. I do need my iPad. Okay, that's what we're gonna do. Okay. I am so excited for this, guys, because kids say such creepy things. They really do. So this Redditor has a fun little anecdote for you, and I can only imagine the conversation that is about to follow. So they posted, tell me the creepiest thing a child has ever said to you. I'll go first. My 2.5-year-old pulled my necklace out my shirt. No biggie, he plays with it often. I ask him, it's beautiful, right? I love it. And he deadpan looks at me and says, yeah, Meemaws. That's what we called my grandma, who raised me and passed away almost 5 years before he was born. It was her necklace, and he only heard us speak about her in passing convos, never about the necklace. Not super creepy, but these kids, man. These kids, man. As expected, this post blew up. And even since I've last visited this, the comments are piling in. People have heard some kids say some scary things, guys. All right, let's check out the responses. This one at the top has over 1,400 upvotes. I used to babysit for a pretty well-off family. They had 3 children. The oldest was 4, the middle was 2, and the youngest was still an infant at this time. All 3 kids had separate bedrooms on the top floor of the house. The way it was set up, they had a living area beneath a walkway. The walkway had one child's room at one end, and the other 2 children had rooms on the other end, which were connected by a bathroom. I would typically do evening nighttime babysitting, and the parents would come back pretty late. On this particular evening, I had put the kids to bed already. It was winter time, so it was dark outside already. I mean, pitch black. This house had enormous windows and skylights and was completely surrounded by trees, so it was either serene or a little spooky in the dark, depending on how you look at it. How about a little both? I feel like it's a little both. I like it. Once they were asleep, I returned to the living room, which was below the walkway. I sat on the couch on my phone for probably an hour and a half, and then the oldest just starts screaming. I mean, at the top of his lungs. He had never done something like that before. They all usually slept pretty peacefully through the night. I ran up the stairs as quickly as I could, thinking something could have happened. When I got up there, he was bolt upright in bed, pointing at a wooden rocking chair in the corner, just yelling and crying hysterically, saying over and over again, I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like that. Mind you, it's just about pitch black minus the minimal light from the hallway. Obviously, I was like, I don't like that either. So I ended up letting him sleep on the couch downstairs next to me. But yeah, that wasn't that wasn't my favorite. Is the boy like is the boy just seeing the chair
And he doesn't like the chair? Or is there something in the chair that none of us can see or don't want to see? Wait, this I've never heard before. They say you should never leave an empty chair in your bedroom. It invites things to sit there at night. Just thinking about it gives me shivers. What? I've been wanting to put a chair in the corner. I had a big empty chair my dad had brought home from work. He works at a country club, and the owner asked if he wanted an old office chair he had. It was pretty nice, cushions and carved back and legs, just a little faded. I swear I used to see an old lanky figure sitting on it at night staring at me. No chairs in bedrooms, guys. People are just going to have to sit on the bed. And if you have guests in your bedroom, they're just going to all have to sit on the bed awkwardly. You can all hang out on the bed. Okay, but that begs the question, if a ghost is going to ghost, what if then, if it had a chair, it would have just stayed there? But because it doesn't have a chair, now it needs to climb up in the bed with you. What about that, huh? Don't worry, just sit a haunted, creepy doll on it and you will be just fine. See, I just knew the comments on this one were gonna be good. I just knew it. I don't have children, but my nephew, when he was very young, maybe 2 or 3, talked about the boy who came up from the floor in his bedroom. Weird stuff happened in that room a lot. Good. My mom was over once when no one else was home, and she said every electric toy in that room turned on at the same time, like the Fireflies music video. Like the Fireflies music video. See, I knew that that could be creepy with different music playing. I knew it could. She went in the room and said, "You need to stop," and they did. A very weird coincidence was that years earlier I had lived in the same apartment, and that same room was my crafting room. My brand new sewing machine was constantly on the fritz, and I had no idea why. Also, my downstairs neighbor would complain that I was making too much noise in the middle of the day. So calm down, lady. And could I please stop stomping around when I was literally just sitting quietly? Oh, that's horrible being below people. When I asked my nephew about the boy many years later, he told me the boy always wanted to play with him, but he didn't want to play with the boy because he was too creepy. That apartment was haunted as fuck. This apartment is haunted as fuck. I lived in one of those. Someday I will tell you the story, I promise. I keep teasing that story. I will. So, when my daughter was 3, she opened up a Christmas gift, which happened to be a stuffed snowman. So, when she got this stuffed snowman, cutest little beanie with the sparkly eyes, she immediately started screaming her lungs out. I mean, screaming and crying. She didn't touch that thing, and anytime she's seen a snowman after that, she would burst into tears and have complete meltdowns. Drawings, cartoons, stickers, any kind of snowman. I eventually asked her why. When she was a little older and able to articulate her strange fear, she told me, "When I was mommy, you were a baby, we were building snowmen. You slipped and fell, cracked your head like egg. There was blood, and you died." She doesn't remember it now. It is stories such as this that make me question if there really is some kind of reincarnation between lives, as it seems like that's the case here. Your daughter remembering something from a past life when she was a child of her own. I'm going to say something very strange right now. And it may make people think I'm nuts, which I am. Currently, I am technically sane. So, when my son was about, I would say he was about 4. And we were at the zoo. I believe it was the end of the day because I think that I was very tired. So we were leaving the zoo. But he wanted to go up and down this new staircase thing that they had built that connected to the parking garage. It was this cool bridge thing. It's over these waterfalls. It's a really cool structure. And he was just having such a fun time going up and down these stairs and up and down these stairs. And I tell you, I was getting to that point, a tired mom. I was feeling done and I was ready to go home. So I'm like, okay, this is the last time, but we're gonna go. And he started crying. And the way he was crying, it was so dramatic. He was devastated by the idea of not going up and down these stairs one more time. And I remember looking at him, and I've always had a very strong connection with my son. In fact, I already knew I was going to have a son before I had him. I've always known. But I remember him crying and the way he was asking to go one more time. Something very strange sort of flashed in my head. It could have just been a false memory or whatever. Maybe it's just an intrusive thought, just a passing thought or idea, but I felt as though in that moment that he had brought me back, like to here, this place, this planet. I felt like I had come back here to experience this game with him again. He had brought me back and I was like, fine, we're gonna do this life one more time, I guess, because you're having fun. Like we're playing another round of Roblox. But just an interesting, strange sensation that I felt. I don't know if there's validity in that, but it felt... I mentioned this silly idea to my son and he was like, oh yeah. It just totally made sense. He's like, yeah, you brought me here and I brought you. We both brought each other here. I'm like, oh, okay. I guess that's that then. From where? I don't know. So when people say you only live once, I would love to just sarcastically go, psh, you might. Kidding. Yeah. So, when my daughter was around 2-ish, we were at Goodwill. They had a bin of stuffed animals and dolls. Lol, like 30 years ago. 25 cents each. I can't remember what my son 1 year older than her got. But to this day, I vividly remember her pulling out a foot-long rubber Halloween skeleton. Try as hard as I could not convince her to get something cute. Something I would have picked. I think it's cute. So after watching her carry that god-awful thing around about a day, I asked her, why do you like that toy? She said, dead kid mommy. Dead kid. I never asked again. A few weeks later, his head fell off and I threw it away. Still don't understand how a baby knew about dead kids. Dead kid mommy. Funny. My mom took me to a store full of stuffed animals, said I could pick out anything I want, and then tried desperately to convince me to change my mind. We're fairly certain I'd never seen the cartoon it was from, but I insisted on getting a Snork, a peach-colored bald one. Looked kind of like a Smurf, but instead of a hat, it has a ding-a-ling stick on its forehead. Oh my gosh. There are so many of these. I am probably going to have to make this a two-parter. There are too many interesting stories in here. Hey, so if you like any of my cool accessories, I'm a Vazagoth girl, so if you use my promo code, the Third Horseman, you will get 50% off plus free shipping. So use my code, do some shopping. Hey, thanks for joining me. See you next weekend. I really need a better closeout than that.